So, Squatters, we are back with another one as we continue tracking this story of Zelensky and Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. You know, Vladimir Putin is actually in a good mood now and has called Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukrainian president, a fool. You know, when you are publicly called a fool as a president, it's so embarrassing. And after the meeting that Zelensky had yesterday with U.S. President Donald Trump, it shows that it's gonna, he's gonna end up with an egg on his forehead as Zelensky, because even Donald Trump is saying it's up to him. If he wants peace, I'm gonna help him sign the ceasefire and contain his country and make peace. If he doesn't want peace, then that's up to him. He's on his own. Then he can find a way, to win this war. And perhaps you can see it's very clear that without America, Ukraine cannot win any war. And remember, Ukraine is the second largest country after Russia. So it's situated right up there in the eastern of Europe. So it's quite worrisome because now Zelensky can see that he has actually lost a war and Vladimir Putin is cruising now. He can see that he has dominated this man. And it's so sad when another man dominates you and do as they please. It's quite an embarrassment because naturally, as men, we've got that ego that you need to show that you're also strong. You can also, protect your country and all of that. But by the looks now, Zelensky has lost a war. I don't know what actually the deal is going to be going forward, but he has to surrender. He has to sign the ceasefire deal because he wants peace. I don't think even if he can be stubborn or act firm, but I don't think he wants to see more casualty because that man, Vladimir Putin, is not having any intentions to back down. If Zelensky doesn't want to back down, he is going to continue to attack Ukraine. And it's so sad because people have been scattered all over. There's humanitarian issues there. And you look at countries like America, they do perpetuate wars. And at the same time, they act like they want to maintain peace and all of that. So Zelensky now, he's a very desperate man, and publicly so the whole world now could see that Zelensky was begging Donald Trump. At the same time, he wanted to act tough, but he wanted support from America. Now America has dumped him. The Donald Trump administration is saying, no, we are not going to entertain you any further. So it's either you sign the ceasefire deal, or if you don't want to sign it, we're going to let that man deal with you alone, and we are not going to help you. And if America says, I'm not going to help you, you are on your own, you are standing a very high risk because America is very naughty. Sometimes they can even help Vladimir Putin to attack. They are provokers. They are people who provokes war and all of that. That is why we are so much worried about the AfriForum, the Solidarity, going to visit Donald Trump there and saying a lot of crap about South Africa and Cyril Ramaphosa. Cyril Ramaphosa, at some point, he has to draw the line because being a president and being spineless, it's worrisome because at the end of the day, you're not protecting only yourself, but you are carrying a country on your shoulders. So whatever that you do or whatever the decision you make should actually favor your own citizens, because if you cannot protect your people, it means you are making them vulnerable. And what kind of a president are you actually? So those are the things that really concerns us as citizens. That really we feel more like Solidarity is planning with AfriForum, Democratic Alliance and Freedom Front Plus to actually topple the government of the ANC. And the ANC government is so relaxed. They are cruising. They are not worried about the declining of the voters' roll, and all of that. So, it's just one of those moments where, people get so much comfortable and not seeing actually the danger that might actually happen at the later stage. I don't know if ANC has already given up and they don't care anymore. They don't want to govern anymore. They just want to let this government to be abused by anyone who is capable of. We've got people like the Gayton McKenzie's who got positions, ministerial positions in the government, and they were making a lot of hullabaloo when they were outside, when they were still campaigning, and now they are inside, they are ministers, they are comfortable, they are singing the same praise as the president, that no, Mr. President will do this, Mr. President. He acted tough, by the way, and I believe people who voted for Patriotic Alliance, they are now disappointed by what they are seeing actually now, and it's worrisome. I don't know, but my feeling is that Patriotic Alliance will decline on the next election, because as much as the leader is showing the people who voted for him actually what he is all about, so on the next election there is a high possibility that it might decline. The EFF is actually getting things right there and there, embarrassing the ANC cadre deployment beneficiaries during the interview of the NYDA, and that also adds more points to them. It gives them more advantage. It puts them on the map. It gets them back to the people's confidence, gaining the confidence of the masses of people who are following the EFF and also the members of the EFF. They are getting there. Actually, by now, they are doing the right thing. I'm not sure if there's going to be any other issue that will actually distract them from focusing on their mission. You look at the MKP, they've recently fired Mary Party. This scandal of her and the Deputy President, Dr. Shope, will stay and will haunt the party for a little bit of time, to the best of them, maybe trying to, I don't know how they will settle it, trying to settle it. I don't know how, because now there's also smaller skeletons of Floyd not getting along with Dr. Shope, but they are trying to, to wipe it under the carpet so people don't see it. And also, Mzwane Leman is also not in good terms with the deputy. So there and there's political squabbles, internal squabbles within MKP, but those are not the squabbles that can really cause the party dearly. The problem was in Mpumalanga, so I think that's the first step of firing Mary Party, to show that they are committed to resolve that problem. But though at the same time, there's issues which will be hanging, which were not properly ventilated. So that, but it's politics anyway. We can't argue. I mean, even the Mbuyisenin Roses left the EFF without ever thinking that they will leave the EFF. You can see, even when he speaks, he still speaks EFF. He still speaks the language of the economic freedom fighters, because remember, he has spent almost half of his career, so far. By the way, he was still in varsity when he was recruited to come to join the economic freedom fighters. So for the best part of his life, he has been with the EFF, and I haven't really listened to his first show at Power FM, but I feel more like he really needs to belong to a political party, because we still need him in a political space. Politics is very funny, because immediately when you stop being actively participating on the field, it becomes boring. I think the man will push the show and whatsoever, but that's not actually his calling. His calling is on the ground, is with the ground forces, and also in parliament. In parliament, he's very super active and he's very smart. But by the way, like I said, that politics, you'll never know what is what. But if he decides to join the civil movements and all of that, maybe he might play a certain role. But we need him in politics. We need him on the ground. We need him to participate, to show us what he used to show us, to sing to sing nicely like a canary, and to do all those charismatic things that we used to see him doing which were actually giving him the title of being the People's Bey. They used to call him, you remember, the People's Bey. So he needs to maintain that People's Bey. So for him to maintain that, he needs to continue to, to participate, man, anyway. But I don't know, it's politics. It's so sad that Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, finds himself in that situation of being defenseless and America dumping him. By the way, we know that Donald Trump likes Vladimir Putin more than Zelensky. Zelensky is just one of those guys that he doesn't really like. So he has actually positioned himself with Vladimir Putin. So Zelensky is so sad, man. But if I was him, I would just surrender, sign the ceasefire, because it's been long overdue. You can't be in a war zone for almost a decade, more than a decade, by the way, because the war started in 2014 and now it's 2025. It's more than a decade, So you can imagine the restlessness and the chaos and everything, and people dying, casualties. I mean, there's no more Ukraine now. Ukraine is just, it's just a ghost town. There's no more Ukraine now. So that's actually the intention of the war. The war wants to actually, destroy a country. You remember Aleppo in Syria. There was a war and, too much casualties and all of that. Even when you check now in Mozambique recently, because they were disputing the election results, and there was chaos and everything, and people ran towards Malawi, in Lilongwe, the capital city of Malawi, and others, went to other countries and all of that. So wars are a cost, to the country, because it despairs people, and people get scattered and go to other countries and become now laborers to other countries. It destroys the country, and it leaves the countries in shambles and leaves a trail of misery. So I believe Zelensky will surrender, and be polite and humble himself to say, listen, gentlemen, I think now it's time for me to stop this war, because you can't govern when there's war. You think about arms and ammunitions and all of that. It's a heavy work to do. So I believe that he will surrender. And I didn't really like it when Vladimir Putin calls him a fool, because it's more like, you have defeated this man, you still continue to embarrass him. So I think we need to save that embarrassment, and they must just sign the deal, ceasefire and all of that, so that people can go back to their normal lives and carry on with their normal lives. Otherwise, thank you, squatters. These are one of the issues. What I like about politics is that politics affects all of us, directly or indirectly. The decision that is made in the parliament will actually reflect. For a practical example, if the value-added tax goes up, maybe through the budget speech and all of that, it's going to impact on us average people and people who are living below the poverty line. So either way, politics, we really need to talk about politics. We really need to follow politics. We really need to do a lot of research and to know what is happening, because even if you're running a business, you also need to know what politicians are doing, what decisions they are making, so that at least when you make business decisions, then you know that politically the landscape is fertile. The environment is conducive for you to operate your business. You don't want to go through issues and all of that. That is why when you see foreign companies, before they come and invest, they want to study the country's rules and everything, so that they know that, are they investing in a politically charged environment, or is it viable for them to go and invest in that area? So politics, either way, we live politics, we breathe politics, we wake up to politics, everything, even the news, everywhere it's politics. So I think it's very important to keep on engaging, and I want to thank you, squatters, We are sitting on 4K subscribers. Let's continue to subscribe. Those who have not subscribed, just log in and subscribe. It's for free. I'll keep on delivering the content. We'll keep on engaging, talk about these issues. And I'm not talking about politics on that level of parliament and whatsoever and a decent English. No, we'll talk about these issues on this simple level, because we believe that there are people who are just average people who wants to know what is happening where and all of that. Let's keep engaging, squatters. And take care. I love you to bits. Cheers, man.